So I know there's this concept that men are more sexual than women, and that there are women who are just not sexual beings. And I usually hear that sentence from married men, not single men. So married men will come to me and say, you know, I've been with my wife for like 10, 20, 30 years, and she's not a sexual being. She's not really interested in sex that much. She doesn't really care for it. Like, she'll do it with me, but it will just be like the same routine stuff. And she can basically live forever without sex. And I am a sexual being, and I need passion and sexuality, and I need orgasms, and I need to touch someone. But my wife, she's not sexual at all, and it's fine. I love her. She's just not a sexual being. She doesn't like sex. And I'm like, well, did she like sex in the beginning of your relationship? And they'll be like, yeah, I think at first she kind of liked sex, but it was never our main issue. So I think a lot of people get married for many reasons, but not because they have a good sexual connection. And that's fine. You know, we can't build our whole life around sexual connection alone. But even if we have everything else and we don't have that, you know, we could stay married, but we're just going to be miserable. And that sentence, you know, my wife isn't a sexual being. And sometimes they even say it to me like, you know, she's not sexual. And I'm like, what the fuck do you mean she's not sexual? How does that work? Does she have a vagina? If she has a vagina, she's sexual. We're all sexual beings. We come to life, we arrive in this world through sex. We create new life through sex. But we came here because our parents had sex. Every human being is a sexual human being. We're all sexual by nature. I mean, it's not something that you have to be or not be. It's just part of who we are. Every animal is sexual. They have sex. That's how they make babies. I mean, you know, plants are sexual. Plants, they get the sun and they grow. So they're having sex with the sun. So everything is sexual. And if we narrow it down back to human beings, these married men, they'll tell me like, oh, you know, my wife isn't sexual. And I'll be like, okay, what does that mean? And then they'll be like, but I have sex with other women and they are sexual. And sometimes these are married women married to other men, and they are sexual. So women outside of my marriage are sexual beings, but my wife isn't sexual at all. And this is like fucked up bullshit. And I don't know why men tell themselves these things. I think there are a few reasons. One, their wife doesn't initiate sex, doesn't seem excited about sex, doesn't seem to enjoy the sex that much. And so the conclusion that these men reach is that she's not sexual. He is. Oh, I'm sexual. She's not. And because I don't believe that, you know, I think we're all sexual beings. We could be more connected to our sexuality, more disconnected. We can have different relationships with our sexuality, but we are all sexual beings. If you have a partner who is not sexual, she is not connected to her sexual energy. She might have arrived that way, like you might have met her that way, and then it just got worse over the years. She might have not been that way, and because of your relationship, she's just like, I'm giving up on sex. It's not fun anymore. He has a small penis and he ejaculates in 2.5 minutes. I'm not even bothering myself with that guy. And they stay together and they live together and everything's okay, but they don't have a sex life. And I think most of the times it's because the woman wasn't enjoying the sex. And she might not be connected to her sexuality. She might not masturbate, not touch herself, not really know how this works and how she feels about it. But the man that she's with definitely did not help her with that. And men expect to receive like at the end package, like a woman who's sexual, who's connected to her sexuality and wants to suck their dick all day. Sometimes you get a woman who's not like fully baked, which means in sexuality, you know, she's not there yet. She needs help. She needs assistance. She needs a man who she'll trust. She needs a man who will open up to her so that she can open up to him. She needs a man who will take things slowly, not push her for sex, not try and make her reach orgasm. She needs a good partner, a good sexual partner. And any woman with a good sexual partner is going to open up and be able to reconnect to her sexuality. It's not a given. We're not born that way necessarily. Sometimes life fucks us up and we close up and we disconnect from our sexuality, but we need help, and we need a good guy to help us. So if you've been married to a woman for 10 or 15 or 20 years and she's not sexual, you fucked up, my friend. You fucked up. You have a gem at home. You have this flower who never bloomed. And instead of learning and helping her to open up and to allow her flower to bloom, you just look at the flower and you're like, oh, that flower hasn't bloomed. I'm going to find another one who did. You know, but where is your obligation? You married this woman in sickness and in health. Is it not your responsibility to help her up and reconnect or connect to her sexuality? Is that not part of your job as a man married to her? If I walk around life with this story in my head that some women aren't sexual, like my wife, and I am the sexual being, so I'm going to enjoy other women's sexuality, this story is preventing you from having a good and healthy, loving relationship with your wife, who you married, because she is just waiting for someone to help her open up and reconnect. She might not be aware of it. It might not be something that she says or asks for. But when we open the conversation about our sex, maybe I don't come from a place like, I want this and this and this, and you don't want to do it and it pisses me off. Maybe it can come from a place like, I know you don't like giving me blowjobs, but like, why? Have you ever given it to someone? Have you ever had bad experiences there? What do you think about it? Is it something that you're interested in? Like, why can't we just open the conversation in a loving way while understanding that the other side, like, she needs help. She needs assistance. She needs you to be her man who helps her open up. But if I'm just like closed off, oh, she's just not sexual and that's it, no growth, no connection, no intimacy, eventually no relationship. And yeah, I mean, I feel bad for these guys because they truly believe that the specific woman that they married isn't sexual, but other women are, but this woman isn't. And sometimes they try and convince me that, no, she really like isn't sexual. Believe me, she's one of those non-sexual beings. But I don't live in that world where there are non-sexual beings. I live in a world where a lot of people will not share their emotions, suppress their emotions, and disconnect from their emotions and therefore from their sexuality, and it's something that can be healed. And that's the world I live in. So if you're a man and you think your wife is just not a sexual being, maybe you should check that out one more time and try and have an honest conversation with her, not telling her what you want her to do to you, but maybe ask her about how sex was regarded in her house where she grew up. How did the surroundings treat her body once she grew up and became a woman? What were her first sexual experiences? What did she feel there? What did she experience there? Like, get into it, because she's got trauma there and she needs help healing that trauma. And if you're just this horny man trying to get things from her, and you're trying to get things exactly from that place where she's wounded, that's not going to work. And then if you're like, oh, well, she's just not sexual then. No, that's not true either. She's wounded. She needs help. You're not helping her. You're just complaining and then going somewhere else. And the excuse that you're giving is that she's not a sexual being. So that's all bullshit. I hope this video has helped in that department a little bit. This is something that happens with married men all the time when they come and talk to me. And it really, like, I get the men and they feel frustrated and they just want to have like good, nice sex without it being so complicated. And I get it. And I never blame someone or guilt someone because they cheated, because I get it. But I also get that these women are just like half a woman. Like, she's not connected to her body. She's not connected to her vagina. She's not connected to her sexuality. And that makes me sad. And these men are so sexual. Well, help her. Like, be there for her. If you love her still. If you don't love her and you don't think she's sexual and you don't have a connection, then divorce her, because then at least you'll have the chance to find another man who will help her with the sexuality. But we're just binding each other together and suffering, and it doesn't have to be that way. So that's my opinion on that subject. I have been teaching and doing tantric meditation for about 8 or maybe 10 years. I work with men and women and couples, and I do sessions online as well, where I help people understand their emotional patterns around sexuality and intimacy, how things in childhood may have affected them in adulthood, and what we can do to heal these wounds in our life and in our relationships so that we can experience more pleasurable and loving life, relationships, sex, and everything. So that's what I do. Thank you for listening. I also upload videos here about these subjects, so you can like or subscribe or comment if you want. I would love to hear from you. And thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.